Brexit really confused Britain. If you ask most journalists or pundits whether Britain still supports remaining or leaving the European Union, they'll either give you a very biased response based on their editorial guidelines, or they'll say they have absolutely no idea. And like most of Britain, we have no idea which direction we're heading or whether we even still want to leave the European Union. But we did have an EU election recently. So, who won the European elections? Was it Remainers or was it Leavers? Well, today we're going to answer that question by taking a look at these 17 million valid votes. We're also going to talk about the people that didn't show up. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the minor parties. So, 80,000 votes went towards independent candidates. So I'm putting them in the questionable column, and then we'll see the Remain Leave column later. 3,000 went to the Socialist Party, 7,000 went to the Independent Network, 23,000 to the Women's Equality Party, 25,000 to the Animal Welfare Party, 33,000 to the UK European Union Party, and obviously that goes in the Remain vote, so we're now on 100% Remain. 39,000 went to the English Democrats, they are Leave voters, so Leave is now on 54, Remain is now on 46. The Yorkshire Party got 50,000. The Ulster Unionist Party in Northern Ireland is the Leave Party, they got 53,000 votes, so Leave is now winning with 74% Leave and 26% Remain. The Trade Unionist Voice got 62,000, and the SDLP got 78,000. So, out of the minor parties, 74% of people support leaving the European Union and 26% support remaining in the European Union. But then we go on to the major parties. UKIP got 554,000 votes, and that makes a swing 52% towards Leave, 48% towards Remain. Change UK got 571,000 votes, and almost swinging back the other way. Look at how close this Leave-Remain margin is. Alliance got 105,928 votes, the first seat in Northern Ireland. 52% Remain, 48% Leave. The DUP, over 100,000 votes. Again, swinging back the other way, 52% Leave, 48% Remain. Sinn Féin, 126,000 votes. Swinging back again the other way, 52% Remain, 48% Leave. Plaid Cymru, 163,000 votes, 56% Remain, 44% Leave. You'll start seeing it suddenly swing towards Remain because there's more Remain parties. So the SNP, over nearly 600,000 votes, now we're on 67% Remain. Conservatives and Labour, I'm going to leave in the questionable column for now. We'll interpret how many Leavers and Remainers supported the two mainstream parties later. So the Greens got over 2 million votes. And now we're on 82% Remain. Labour once again go in the questionable column. The Liberal Democrats, over 3 million votes, the second biggest party in this election. And now we're on 10% Leave, 90% Remain. And of course the Brexit Party, the biggest party in this election, got over 5 million votes. So 46% Leave, so 54% Remain, if you don't include the two main parties, Labour and the Conservatives. So a slight swing towards Remain, but still within a margin that could easily change come a referendum or a general election, and depending on who shows up to the referendum or election. So if you split the Labour vote by how many Labour constituencies voted to Remain in 2016, by how many Labour constituencies voted to leave the European Union in 2016, then that was 36-64 by the way, then you end up with 1.5 million Labour votes going towards the Leave campaign and just over 800,000 votes going towards Remain, giving a Leave swing by 51% to 49% Remain. And in 2016, 74% of Conservative constituencies voted to Leave and 26% voted to Remain. So that makes 1 million Conservatives going towards Leave and just over 300,000 going towards Remain. Or in other words, 51% swing towards Leave, 49% swing towards Remain. And if you include the others in that, you end up with the same results. In other words, a very, very small margin between Leave and Remain. But as I showed at the start of this video, most people in the country did not show up to this election, compared to the EU referendum, which had a 71% turnout. This only had a 37% turnout, so 46 million voters did not show up to this election. Out of the voters that did turn out, this graph shows that in higher Remain areas, indicated by the y-axis, the change in turnout was more positive, indicated by the x-axis. In other words, more Remainers showed up to this election than Leavers. So, let's instead split the Labour vote by how they're polling at the moment, which favours Remain. So 60% of Labour voters now support Remain, whereas 40% now support Leave. If we apply that to the numbers of the European election, that would give Labour 1.4 million towards Remain and 900,000 towards Leave, giving a Remain swing of 55% to 45% Leave. And if you include the Conservatives in that, and the others as well, the Conservatives are now polling at 20% Remain and 80% Leave. So that makes just over 1.2 million Leave Conservatives and 300,000 Remain Conservatives. Overall, that makes a 52% swing towards Remain or 48% swing towards Leave. Depending on how you interpret the vote, you can end up with a swing either way within 2 or 3% of each other. What this proves is that a second referendum would not necessarily solve parliamentary impasse or political divisions within the country. But what I've also shown is that Leave voters are also incredibly disenfranchised with the whole democratic system of the United Kingdom and the EU. Their anger might mean that they don't show up to a second referendum. The reality is, depending on who shows up and who doesn't show up, it could still swing either way and divide the country more. The same goes for whatever version of leaving the European Union the government delivers. But do you agree with me? Join in the debate below and subscribe.